How's everybody doing? It's Ann here, wanting to provide you a somewhat edited content. It's not really that great of a quality, but I guess you guys will have to put up with it. But today's pre-stream was, well, it was nothing short of ridiculous today. You're probably wondering to yourself, Ann, what the fuck happened? And why do you have PayPal information currently up on your video that you're probably watching here in about like 30 minutes? Well, I got a good explanation for that. So, DSP went on a little bit of a rant today, and the rant consisted of how he does not receive any information from PayPal that could potentially dox you. Now, anybody with half a brain will understand that being doxxed really doesn't take a whole lot of information. One of the key pieces of information that you need is simply a name. Knowing somebody's name, knowing somebody's email, and then probably knowing the denomination of what they tipped you will give you a good idea of who that person is thanks to social media. Now, DSP is pretty wise to this, which is why he will go at length to frame the argument that what detractors are indicating is that what he receives is a physical address and a bank account. No, DSP, nobody is making that argument. The argument they're making is with a name and an email, and with today's social media, you can find anyone. What I've provided is a payment that I have made to a content creator who I am acquainted with and who has posted up this information on their Twitter. I have made a payment over to them. What I've censored out is the transaction ID, the name that's associated with the account, the email that's associated with the PayPal, along with the recipient's email. Basically, I know who the recipient is because of the information they set up on their PayPal account, and conversely, they know my information, at least with regards to a name and an email. That is all it takes to find out who I am and where I am from. DSP for the next 14 minutes is now going to make the argument that he does not get any information, and we are all a bunch of crazy idiots, and that you need to make a burner account so that way you are going to be safe because you gave him money. So let's just go ahead and get on with the video.
Okay, so that's a big change. So that's a big change, right? All right, also, I have to address this. We were talking about it on pre-stream. Before I turned on the pre-stream today, I was talking with the people in chat. So I have to clarify a very major point, all right? Because I've had enough of this misinformation. I've had enough of these conspiracy theories. And I've had enough of people literally making stuff up. Because at this point now, it's going to actually hurt my livelihood and my business. So I have to dispel these crazy conspiracy rumors, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, when you tip someone via PayPal, you do not dox yourself, all right? Allow me to give you the lowdown on what exactly happens when you tip someone with PayPal, all right? When you tip someone with PayPal, the person who receives the tip will see some very basic data, including the following. Whatever username you have chosen to have as the revealed username on PayPal. Now, I've seen people have their real life name. I've seen people have a name that obviously is an online code word or name. Like, for example, I'm not even kidding. That tip I just got, it said nine-tailed strategist. Okay? So sometimes you'll see a name like that. Sometimes you'll see a name that's associated with the PayPal account, all right, from behind the scenes, but you guys won't see that name publicly on the stream. It depends on how the user sets up their PayPal account. It has nothing to do with me. It's how the user sets up the PayPal account. Okay? There are many ways that you can actually make it so that you don't see personal information on there. Yes, it's very true that if you just rush through making a PayPal account, okay, and you put in your basic info, yeah, very likely your real name may be in there.
So what you're saying is that if you set up your information for your PayPal, your real information is going to be shown there. That's probably 99% of all users that set up a PayPal. They don't set up a PayPal and put fake information, especially if they want to be verified by sending in their information for their bank account, because it requires their actual information associated with their account and their billing address. If it wasn't real, or if it wasn't accurate, they wouldn't be verified. That's like making the argument, well, you can lie to them because it doesn't matter. You can just create the PayPal account and put whatever you want on there. And if you didn't, well, that's your fault. DSP, the information that you're likely receiving from people via email for every single transaction you receive is going to contain a name and an email, minimum. And that is all it takes to dox somebody.
Okay, but you can change it. Once you create the PayPal account, you have the ability to change that information. It's under the control of the user of that PayPal account what a person can and cannot see. All right.
Right there, he's put the blame squarely on the person who owns the PayPal. So it's not his fault that he gets your information. No, it's your fault for leaving your real life information on an account that is going to assume that whatever you're buying from is not going to use your information in a negative way. Now, granted, 99.999% of transactions you will ever do, this will never be the case. With Phil, with his previous actions, who knows what he's doing with the information? But he gets your name and he gets your email.
All right. So basically, I see whatever name you want me to see when you tip me. That's number one. Number two, there is an email address associated with the PayPal account. Yes, I see the email address associated with the PayPal account. That's actually necessary, because if they didn't have that, how on earth would someone be able to block that account? Like, for example, let's say there's a malicious tipper who's tipping a bunch of dollar tips and insulting me and my family and stuff. You need to be able to block them. If there was no email address associated with the PayPal account, right, how on earth would you be able to block them? You wouldn't be able to. Okay? Now, that email address could be anything because, again, the person who's tipping you makes that email address and links it to the PayPal account when they make the PayPal account. So that's nothing, you know what I mean? That's nothing special. That's nothing personal or anything like that. It's just an email address. You could literally make up an email address, a new one, just to have a burner account to use PayPal. You don't have to have that email address be anything else but a burner account that you only use for PayPal tips. That's it. Okay? So there you go.
Do you see how many extra steps you gotta go to give this guy money? Could you imagine, like, going to, I don't know, a pizza place, and for you to pay them, you can't just only use your card. You have to use an account. And that information, if you want to keep it private, needs to have a burner email attached to it and a fake name. What kind of fucking business is that? What the hell are you trying to hide? Are we selling drugs? We gotta make sure there's no way to trace it back. A burner account. I mean, I get it. If you don't want to share your information, more power to you. But with DSP, you gotta go that extra step. If you want to give this guy money, you gotta go an extra step to make sure that he doesn't get your information. The information, which he has already admitted he gets, which is a name and an email.
The only other real piece of information that I can consistently see is payment method and if it's a verified or unverified account. Payment method basically means how did someone pay for this tip? And all it tells me is, did you use a credit card or did you use your bank account That's it. That's all it says. It doesn't say your credit card number is this and it's this type of credit card. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say, oh, your bank account's from this bank and here's your bank account number. No, it doesn't say that. All it tells me is very generically, was it a credit card? Was it a bank account payment? That's it. That's all it says. Okay? And the last thing is, it says verified or unverified. Verified means that you linked all of your real-life personal information to the account. It doesn't mean I see that information. It just means that it tells me you did that, so that it gives me the added protection of knowing you're a real person when you tip me, and I can trust your tip. You see? That's very different from what people are saying. People out there are saying, oh, if you make a verified PayPal account, that's going to give your physical address to the person you're tipping. Wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been using PayPal for tips since I started being a full-time streamer in 2017. With the thousands of tips that I have received, not once ever in the history of me doing this have I seen someone's physical mailing address. Not once. It doesn't exist. This is completely falsified info. I don't see your phone number. I don't see your real-life name, again, unless that's the generic name you used when you created your PayPal account and you left it as the generic information. I mean, it's so simple to change, but I guess a lot of people just don't do it, right? Because they don't think about that, right?
You see how he made that argument? The argument changed from, there's no information that I get that I can use to dox, to, I don't get your bank account information, I don't get your physical address, but I do get your name. And if you don't change that name, well, you're sending me your real name. So that's on you. So we're basically blaming the customer for giving the real life name that they probably have to have on the account, so that way they can probably have the correct information to be verified. And this is in no way, shape, or form potentially harmful to a guy who is willing to share a private driver's license. Mind you, a driver's license that had more information than what you're sending via PayPal to a bunch of people on a Discord server. They weren't really the intended recipients of that information. BW Dubs did not ask, hey, DSP, can you share this with your mods? No. That was sent for you. If he was willing to share a driver's license, uncensored, what the hell is he going to potentially do with the PayPal information? Realistically, he probably isn't going to do anything with it. But this guy is also sitting here lying, saying that, well, I don't get your information, but I kind of do. It just happens to be your name and your email, and if you didn't change it to something being a burner, email or a fake name, that's kind of on you. And if you want to give to me so that way I keep going for the next 20 years, you're going to have to kind of change that. Yeah, makes a whole lot of sense if you don't really think about it.
So this is all stuff that's false. I don't see your real name. I don't see your address. I don't see your phone number. I don't see your bank account. I don't see your credit card number. I don't see anything that could be considered doxable information at all if you tip me. None of.
So what's considered doxable information by DSP? DSP considers doxable information as a bank account, an address. Does anybody else think this is absolutely ridiculous? You literally can Google somebody's name. You could Google an email address. And because that shit gets connected to everything, man, you can find out where somebody's at. How do you think some of your pay pigs were doxxed? Because they have an email address. Because they have a name. Because their username gets put somewhere. Like on Twitter. That's how they get doxxed. All you need is a name. Man.
None of that. Zero. Anyone who's telling you that is a bold-faced liar, and the reason they're doing it is very simple. They know right now that I'm a very vulnerable person. They know that because I am no longer in the Twitch partnership program, that the only major income I have is tips. So they're going to do everything they can possible to lie, to make it so that I can't make a living doing this anymore. These are people who are malicious individuals. They will completely try to substantiate conspiracy theories around anything to try to hurt me. So they will literally make shit up in order to hurt me. It's that simple. Because here's the truth. If this was all true, if all this doxable info was out there, why wouldn't this be common knowledge? Why wouldn't this be all over the internet?
Why wouldn't it be all over the internet? Why wouldn't you be able to do a simple Google search to know what kind of information is going to be sent via PayPal over to another individual? I don't know. Maybe to somebody who's never used the internet, maybe to somebody who's never used Google, that makes a whole lot of sense. But if you have even a modicum of intelligence, and you went about Googling it, you would find out that, yeah, this is the basic information you're going to send somebody who's a seller.
Don't use PayPal at all because it doxes you? Like, what are they? I mean, think about this logically. Why would anyone use PayPal if it doxed all your personal information? At all. Every time you send a payment to anyone for anything, they could immediately have identity theft on you. Right? So, what on earth are you talking about? Like, this is just, it is so stupid. Right? It just doesn't make any sense at all that people would say this. But again, oh, here's our chance. Finally, we can really hurt Phil bad by completely making shit up. All right? And I hate to say it, but there's some regulars on the streams that are in this boat. And I knew it all along because I knew that there's people here who sit here, as I've been saying recently. They pretend to be friendly with me. They pretend to be supporters of the stream. They pretend like they actually like me and my content. But then when the crap hits the fan, all of a sudden, their true colors get revealed. All right? And I'm sorry, but I don't care if you used to cheer all the time. And now that you can't cheer anymore, you know, I say, okay, the only way you can support is by tipping. Oh, but I'm not going to tip because that doxes you. Well, it doesn't. It does not. It's 100% factually incorrect. You don't get doxed. I've just fully explained how it works. Oh, well, I don't care. It doxes you. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter how many times you say it. It doesn't matter how much you hear a group of people say it in you know, it's a cultish mentality. Let's all just keep saying it until we all believe it. But it's not true. This is everything to do with me that's negative shit. That's exactly how it works. These people just sit in their little corners of the internet, on their little restreamer channels or their little fucking dirty ass forums, and they fucking say things in a circle enough so they all believe it. There's no evidence of any of it, because if it was, who the fuck would ever use PayPal if every time you sent someone a payment you were fully doxxed? You'd have to be a fucking moron to believe that. But these people just sit there and repeat the same thing over and over and over till they believe it. And then they try to push that belief system down everyone else's throat. That is a cult.
Isn't it ironic? Isn't it fucking ironic? Of all the people to say it's a cult, there's the information for you right there, right in front of you. That's my payment going to somebody. They know my name. They know my email. If at some point it comes down to it that they want to be malicious, well, they already know enough information to find out where I live. Why I don't give out my PayPal. Why I don't take any tips. Because I don't want it. And you can really tell that LSB fucked him up ever since he started making those cult videos. Because everything that he's espousing right now is suppression of thought, of independent thought. He doesn't want anybody to think outside the box, nobody to question it. A guy doesn't want to tip you. He used to give bits, but he doesn't want to tip you because he doesn't want to reveal his information. So why don't you say, okay, fair enough. Well, I appreciate all the support. No. What he decided to do with the guy who kept tipping or giving bits for Chef Boyardee memes is to publicly shame him because he refused to give him money via tips. How is it not like a cult again? You're part of the in-group, but you did something wrong. Now we're going to shame you, and you either fall in line or you get casted out. Pretty weird if you ask me.
That's exactly the definition of how a cult works. So the thing is, now, yes, I'm definitely at a vulnerable part of my streaming career. I'm at a point now where it's a turning point. I'm either going to try to make do, continuing on with my community here on Twitch, and basically make a living on tips and patron pledges, or I'm going to be forced to leave Twitch and have to move on and go somewhere else, all right? I am not, in any way, shape, or form, am I going to fucking put up with people on my streams spreading cultish misinformation, because they want to basically hurt me. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to put up with bullshit. So last night we have a stream regular who always used to cheer a silly meme about Chef Boyardee by the name of Major Riot. And now I said to him, well, I guess you just can't do the meme anymore. It sucks. I really liked it. He then proceeded to derail the Call of Duty stream, posting up messages saying, I have verified that every time that you verify your PayPal account and tip, it fully doxes you. I talked to representatives from PayPal, and they've confirmed this. This is a public service to everyone. You must know that you will be fully doxed if you tip on PayPal. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what is your problem? And he was warned multiple times and kept doing it, and then he got banned. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Right? Like, it shocks me because, again, this is a guy who was a regular, I thought it was funny. I thought the Chef Boyardee meme was funny. Hell, we were going to do a DSP Tries It during this upcoming Retro Replay event where I was going to try Chef Boyardee as a part of the running meme. Right? So what happened? Why did this guy all of a sudden become a crazy conspiracy theory idiot? I just don't understand this fucking shit, guys. I don't. I'm lost. Why do people act like this? This guy knows. He knows that if I can't get tips, then I can't make a living, right? So why would you make shit up? I just don't understand it. It just doesn't make any sense why people behave like that, right? This is a guy who obviously was a supporter, or he wouldn't have cheered. You know, why would he have cheered over a course of a year with this silly meme and supported the channel if he was then going to just flip like that and become a nutcase, right? And that's the truth of the matter here is, I'm sorry, if you believe any of these conspiracy theories, any of them, for which there's no actual substantiated proof, you need help. You are one of these people who, what do they call it? A suggestible personality, that just because someone says something to you and seems to believe it, you believe it. In life, that's a terrible way to go through life. I'm not saying don't be skeptical. Seriously. In life, you absolutely have to be skeptical. You have to ask the right questions, and you have to do research. Because so many times in life, you will be told something, and you're told to believe it, and it's not true. Okay? I openly welcome all of you to be skeptical people, to be analytical people, and to think. Think independently for yourselves. Don't just believe the group think. All right? But unless someone can present evidence of something, it's not true.
Remember, it's only if you can't present any kind of evidence whatsoever on what kind of information is given via PayPal, it's not true. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you proof of what you get or what you send to a seller via a tip, the same way he has it set up. You make up your mind.
Why would anyone... I was just told by a bunch of people that if I verify my PayPal account, I'm doxing myself. So I'm not, that's it. So what are you talking about? What evidence is there? There's no evidence of it. It's not true. But you just believe it, and then you push it as a theory on someone's stream who is at a vulnerable point, who needs tips to survive. Tell everyone don't tip. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think that that kind of behavior is going to be rewarded? Do you think that kind of behavior is going to be cherished? It's, oh, thanks so much for derailing my stream tonight. I mean, really, I appreciate it. No, stupid. I mean, come on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is real life. This is not the realm of some fantasy novel or video game or manga. And in real life, actions have consequences. When you act a fool, you get treated like a fool. All right? This is my business, as well as the place where I hang out with you guys on a daily basis. And if I have people coming in here spouting misinformation, you're not going to be here anymore. It's that simple. All right? It's just that simple. You absolutely have the right to question anything that is said or done. All right? You do. You have that right. But you don't have the right to spread misinformation in my place of business. That hurts me. You don't have that freedom here. Okay? You just don't. And don't please understand. I'm not trying to stifle freedom of speech, but you can't just come in here and do this. You're fucking with my life, man. Like, what on earth are you thinking? So, that's the deal, and it really upset me last night. It really did. Here I am trying to play the new season of Call of Duty, and my whole stream gets derailed by this, and I'm very upset. Alright? We need to have people use logical thinking and stop it with this nonsense, this madness. Is what it is. It's fucking madness. To just believe something. What on earth? So anyway, guys, that's what happened last night. Please understand, this is all bullshit. You can tip me as long as you, when you make your PayPal account, make sure the information that's in there is the information that you want. Don't accidentally put your full name in there and have it be shown if you don't want it. If you don't want that email address getting out, then make a burner email address that's not a one that you're going to be using for other stuff. This is all basic stuff. This is the same kind of stuff I've always had to do with all my accounts, because you got to understand that people are always going to try, when you have a public persona, people are going to try to get into your shit, hack it, and do all kinds of fucked up stuff. So this is just stuff that I've always done. But I guess for some people it's new. It's like, oh, I can't just put all my real life info in there, you know, and then send someone a tip. And, you know, you can take 5 minutes of extra work, change the name, make sure the email is not an important one, and you're good to go. Nothing.
All you have to do is create a fake email, give them a fake name, and you're okay to give them as much money as you want. You'll never be found out. It's all up to you. It's your fault if you get doxxed sending him money.
Nothing else will be revealed. You see? Okay. I hope that all makes sense. Fair enough? So, all that being said, guys, thank you in advance for any contributions today. As you know, yes, the tip goal has had to have been increased. There's nothing I could do about it. I had to do that as a result of me now only being able to accept tips as form of contribution, besides Patreon. And again, Patreon is a perfectly valid way for you to support me. Patreon works very similar to the sub process that used to be a part of my streams. You subscribe to my Patreon or pledge to my Patreon, and once a month, on the 1st of the month, they will renew that pledge, and it qualifies you for certain perks. The perks are fully explained on my Patreon. You can give it a look. I recommend you guys check it out, because like I said, what I may start doing is monthly goals based off of my Patreon support again. I used to do it years ago, and I stopped doing it because you guys told me not to, but now the subs are gone, so maybe we'll go back to that. Okay? Fair enough? Okay. Now, let's get the shoutouts.
Well, fair enough, guys. So let's go ahead and end the video. I appreciate you watching it all the way through. Sorry for that little hiccup with the echo there for like a split second. I'll try and nix it, but I mean, don't really expect any wonders. I'm not gonna fucking edit this video. It is what it is. But for those of you who are ever wondering, this is the information that you send generically to somebody via PayPal if you're gonna tip them. So be wary, I guess, if you're going to send something to DSP, what you're going to give him. And at this point, for any of those people that are truly actually worried on DSP's fucking channel, that sit in his chat and like to pretend that none of this shit happens, man, it's your fault at this point. To have fun, you got to do this for the next 20 years for him to successfully have made it through life being a content creator.
Yeah. Yummy.